Could we address the questions that we gave you in writing the other day, as we gave your office in writing the other day, which I just handed to you at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Could I? Yes.
Okay. Are there any, you want to just take them serially?
That would be great.
Okay.
I think you started with one of them, but...
When will impeachment proceedings against Vice President Richard B. Cheney commence? Answer, I don't know. What is the planned timetable for the impeachment proceedings against Cheney? Answer, there aren't any. When will preparation of all papers for the impeachment of President W. Bush be completed? None have been started. When will impeachment proceedings against President Bush begin? I think I've answered that. What is the planned timetable for the impeachment of President Bush? I think I've answered that. When will planned timetables and status of the impeachment proceeding be posted on the House Judiciary Committee website? I think I've answered that. What assistance can we provide to remove any obstacles to impeachment proceedings beginning immediately? In particular, who, including members of your committee and the Democratic congressional leadership and the party leadership, are blocking immediate impeachment proceedings? We would be happy to encourage, put pressure on them to reconsider their positions. Now, that's a question I can discuss with you. What assistance can we provide to remove any obstacles to impeachment proceedings beginning immediately? Answer. Have additional members of the House of Representatives over and above the 36 that have sought impeachment hearings to come out for or join in the resolution of impeachment against either the President or the Vice President.
Well, you could still start hearings with that small number right there, and you don't require a majority of anything to begin the hearings.
I didn't say we did.
Then that's not an impediment to start hearings.
Is that an option?
And
No,
how would it
it's not an
help to get
obstacle.
more congressmen signed on when you said yourself that the only thing holding back is your own decision? If you haven't decided yet, how is it going to help to have more congressmen signed on to that?
Easily, that will affect my decision.
If you step forward, they will follow.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what this country needs.
Go ahead. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Actually, Congressman, I just want to say, I think he's working through that question, or his answers, and has a chance to take some notes and do some thinking.
Oh, yeah, the last part of 7. We would be happy to encourage, put pressure on them to reconsider their positions. Well, that's what you're doing with me, isn't it?
Is it working?
Yeah, it's not bad. Let's stick with it a little bit more. We haven't worked this out yet. But what I want to do is really get time to respond to. I don't need to respond to all of them. Many of them are repetitive, but we want to get into that because I want you to understand what it is I'm thinking about. I mean, this is how people make up their mind. I don't go into everything persuaded about what I'm going to do or persuaded what I'm not going to do. I hate to recount how many times I've said I wasn't going to do something and I ended up doing it. And I also don't mean to reveal here how many times I said I was going to do something and ended up not doing it. I mean, that's human nature and the way things happen. That's the way this is going down. But this, as I said, outside of a declaration of war itself, I can't think of anything more important than the subject that brings us here.
Congressman, can I? I have a, well, this
One
speaks
more
to
question. Let's see. Joe,
One at a time.
Is this on impeachment?
Absolutely, it's on impeachment, it's on the crimes that are committed and the disparity. I want to bring this to your
I'm
attention.
not answering all the questions first.
I think, okay, let me take, hold on a second, Joe. Hold on a second, Ron. Have you been, I believe you've been all the way through the questions, is that
No,
correct?
there's one more here.
I got 7.
Okay,
One more question down below.
Oh.
It's an important one.
we'll get back to Joe.
On the first page,
It's right at the end of that. What assistance can we provide to remove obstacles? It's,
oh yeah,
Mr. Connors, you said, if you read that.
is this question 7?
Yes, that's question number 8.
It's not,
It's not under this.
Wait, it's confusing for us, it's not numbers. This is the one that starts with Mr. Conyers, you said in 2005, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's confusing because
I'm not going to read it out loud.
it doesn't look like one of the questions.
Yeah, Mr. Conyers, you said in 2005 that we needed to impeach to take away the excuse that we didn't know. So that 2 or 4 or 10 years from now, if somebody should ask, where were you, Conyers, and where was the United States Congress when the Bush administration declared the Constitution inoperative and revoked the license of parliamentary government, none of the company now present can plead ignorance or temporary insanity, can say that somehow it escaped our notice, that the president was setting himself up as a supreme leader exempt from the rule of law. Is that?
That's not the questions down below there.
Oh,
What excuse?
Oh, it's a bold further down, a bold type further down, on the same page.
It says, it's right here. It's right at the bottom.
Why don't you read it to them?
Okay, I'll read it. I say, what excuse do you plan on giving the American people if you do not impeach, not only for your lack of action, but for your guilt of misprision of felony, misprision of treason, and misprision of terrorism? Your utter lack of regard for the American people and your duty to the Constitution and the oath that you took upon taking office, and your lack of support for the systems of check and balances, which is the only thing that necessitates the existence of Congress in the first place. This is a lady from Norfolk wrote that question and quoted your book there.
sure.
What excuse do you plan to give him?
Yeah. I don't plan to give any excuse. I haven't made up my mind. How can I tell you why I'm not going to impeach when I came here and the first thing out of my mouth was, I haven't decided.
Okay.
And the rest of that is just a description of what they think of me or the Congress or somebody else.
We have another question here, which is we're trying to consolidate some of these questions.
Sure.
In short, Chairman Conyers, between Representative Kucinich's 35 articles and the list of laws violated presented by Veterans for Peace, what are you looking for to make a decision about impeaching Bush, Cheney, the military cabal that they've run behind, and the corporate leaders that have supported and sponsored the illegal occupations and 120 bases around the world?
I don't have any obligation to tell you what my thinking process is to arrive to the conclusion that I'm going to give you.
Sure, we have, there's a lot of questions which are sort of aimed in the same direction.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the post-November 2008 election period will help make up your mind to begin impeachment process? My mind is not made up. what is the case then, and what are your reservations? If not now, when? How can we convince you to impeach? What do you need to make up your mind? Would the chairman willing to hold official hearings with constitutional experts in order to make up your mind? So I think you get a sense of the frustration or the concern. I don't know whether there's a way to answer that or not, but there's sort of a pattern.
Yes, there is. And I feel the concern and the emotion and the pattern and the logic and the passion. But we're not here to tell you how my mind works or what process I'm going to use or how I'm going to come to the decision that you've come here to ask me to make. You don't have any right or privilege to inquire into what process I'm going to use unless I choose to reveal it.
But you've stated that Congress listens to the constituency, and now you're saying that we have no right to listen to how you actually come to a decision-making process.
No, I didn't say that. I said what I said. That we're not here to inquire into my mind or my mental processes or how I plan to arrive at this. Of course I include my constituents. That's how I got elected 42 years in a row.
Well, sir, I wouldn't expect any certain privilege into the inner workings of your mind, but it may do something to mitigate some of the assumptions that people are making. And one of them, I think, is that what is being used is stall tactics here. And we hear things like continuing relationship, stick with it, keep putting pressure on. And the issue has been deferred long past the times when everyone has acknowledged that impeachable offenses have been committed. And so I don't think anybody here would claim that special privilege, but it may help to mitigate some of these impressions that you're making to the American people, to us, that are very damaging to, I think, your own public image and definitely the perception of the Democratic Party as a whole.
Well, thank you. We are not here to deal with assumptions. If I dealt with assumptions, I couldn't get any work done. There are people that praise my work. There are people that condemn my work. There are people that don't know and don't care what I'm doing one way or the other. I'm not here to mollify or clear up all of that. You're going to think about me what you want to think about me. I know as much about the Constitution as all of you. So that's the way it is. And I appreciate you giving me that question to allow me to respond to it. This is not stalling. I'm not here to stall. I'm here to tell you exactly where I am right now.
As much as we talk about the Constitution, more importantly, our fallback is the Declaration of Independence. And if you're as familiar with that as you are with the Constitution, then you know what we as a citizenry, once the Constitution tells us what our next step is. We do not want to go down that path. You are our last hope. What does it take to make you understand November will be here very soon? Barack wins, Barack doesn't win. Our country is at fate today. How many more soldiers will die today? How many more soldiers will kill themselves today? How many more innocent Iraqi civilians, Afghani civilians will die today? Every day you delay is another day that threatens Iran, is another day that threatens more death and destruction, period. And our impending imprisonment. Please take that seriously.
I take everything that's been said here seriously.
Joe's got a...
Congressman, the dissonance, the disparity between, I have a letter here from the White House defending, I wrote one, Military Commissions Act, saying they do not torture. The disparity, the dissonance. I have here an article about human rights, positions for human rights groups, the Taguba report. Quote, General Taguba, I'm sure you're familiar with it. There is no longer any doubt as to whether the current administration has committed war crimes, General Taguba wrote. The only question that remains is whether those who ordered the use of torture will be held accountable. That is what we're here for. That disparity between their clear thumbing their nose and when the Bush administration says that, oh yes, we give them due process, we do not torture. There's a legal distinction from what I understand, and I know I've listened and I've read Alberto Moro, who is the chief counsel, and I think perhaps he's appeared before your committee. There's another member of IVAW, Captain Montalvan, I believe, who seeks to speak to you. He's spoken before Maxine Waters' committee. These are explicit, specific people who have witnessed these things, who will give you evidence if that's what it takes to convince you to proceed. And I think that disparity I have right here, and I can give you a copy of this letter, which says, no, we're doing everything fine. This is what everyone here and everyone who has a conscience is reacting to. And then you have people with the rank of General Taguba, I believe he's a lieutenant general, who issued this report and it's been ignored. What's happened? So I put that before you, with all respect.
Congressman, I just want to make one brief statement because it regards something that you said. You said that you have not made up your mind, you have not reached a decision yet. But actually, logically speaking, you have made up your mind and you have made a decision from... Here you made a decision that impeachment was imperative, back before the Democrats took control. But since that time to now, the decision you in effect make is not to impeach, because it has not happened. We have very limited time left in which to do this. So you're saying you have not reached a decision is not really accurate, because the decision so far is not to act and not to impeach. What you really need to say is you have not decided whether you will change that decision, but you have made a decision, obviously, logically.
Look, that's an opinion of which you are totally entitled to.
Logical conclusion.
And it's a logical conclusion to which you are perfectly entitled to. Now, may I make a suggestion about how we might best spend the rest of our time? And there may be some of you that do not choose to meet with me again or ever again, but I propose that we do meet again, in which I respond to a considerable amount, a lot of repetition, but we can boil it down to a response to everything that's been said at the first meeting and the second meeting. But there are a lot of people here that haven't said a word, and I'd like to hear from them, or I'd like them to feel that that they didn't just travel here to listen to this, since it's being taped and TV'd and everything else. So at the next meeting I propose is that I talk to you and that you come to listen to me, and that everybody here from the first meeting and the second meeting have told me everything they want to hear before we meet again to decide this, and that we meet again soon. Is that a meet with your approval, sir?
Certainly, I think it would work with most of our people. Frankly, that's what we expected this meeting to be. Would be largely listening to you.
Me too.
So let me ask you this: what kept that from happening?
I don't care to go into that.
Okay.
You know, it's one thing for me to tell you what I do and why I do it, but what happened? What's my state of mind? Going over my schedule. What was I doing? I don't feel it's going to accomplish anything. The fact is that I had planned to make an announcement. I am not able to make it. I've taken in all this new material. I'm going to make it the next time we meet. And I'd like to hear from everybody else before this meeting concludes, if you want to. If you don't, then we can conclude the meeting now.
Just open it up.
So,
Yeah.
I also have all the questions we've received so far,
Sure.
which I consolidated, but I will give those to you also,
Please.
so that you have the actual questions. If you'd like to open up to...
Yes, sir. Well, okay, start out, let's go from,
Sir, my name's Pat. I'm Pat Brennan. I'm from
Little louder, please.
Virginia.
Can you speak up?
I'm sorry, my name's Pat Brennan, and I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. And, sir, you're absolutely right. You have the right to keep your thought processes to yourself as far as that goes. You have been nice enough to let us know that if we generate some more political support that may help in some of your decisions, are there anything else that, for either side, that you may be looking at or looking for that is going to swing this in either way? And if you could, over the time while everything's being looked at, the Valerie claim and the Road incident, probably once dug into, if questioned, it's a full circle. And you will find that perhaps if what we have brought forward to you is not enough evidence to, because an impeachment simply boiled down is questioning the credibility of an official. And we have plenty of evidence to question credibility. As you look into other things that are also in front of you or will be soon in front of you, you may find that these are full circles, and I really wish that you would possibly put that on the scale of where you are. I don't know if there's a question or not, but I would appreciate if you in the full circle, and if there is anything else that you have told us that if we can foster some more political support, that would be a wonderful thing for you. Is there any other bones you would care to throw for us?
yes,
I mean, as far as that goes?
yeah, thank you for your question. How do you pronounce your last name?
Brennan, B-R-E-N-N-A-N.
Mr. Brennan, thank you. The fact of the matter is that I think we have on the table now every possible constitutional rationale for impeachment that exists. I don't think I need any more information. With my body of expertise and the information that you brought forward, I cannot ask for anything more. Getting more support. You know, if the number of people that agree with you in the Congress continues to go up, of course that has an impact on me and the decision that I make. If it goes down, that has an impact on the decision that I make. It's not determinative, but it certainly means something. I mean, that's what a representative democracy is about.
And democracy and justice, and one person has the same as thousands of people, and one misgiving is just as bad as the 60 that are getting ready to be brought before you all again. I mean, isn't one enough? I mean, isn't one? I mean, we've.
Yes, one could be sufficient, yes.
I mean,
More helps, like 218. I mean,
I appreciate your candor.
this lady has given me lots of advice in the short time we've known each other. No, that's what we're meeting about.
My name is Lisa Petcher. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. My son survived the South Tower World Trade Center. And when the Senate intelligence report came out and proved that George Bush lied, I thought the crimes have been committed, it should be released. I don't understand how these crimes could continue to be validated and no consequences given. And we're in the wrong war right now. I mean, what else do you need? It's my same question, I guess. Because I keep seeing it piling up and piling up and piling up. crimes, war crimes, torture, kidnapping. You know, what else do you need? I don't understand.
Well, I need you to come back to one more meeting with me before I'm made a hero or dismissed out of hand, so that we can do it. We're not here. I'm not here to decide right now. That's what
That's what
I've
I'm
been.
saying. All of these crimes have been committed. What other crimes need to happen before you decide? And I know you don't have to tell us your thoughts process. I don't understand how the crimes.
I know you don't understand, but please sleep comfortably in your bed, even though you don't understand tonight.
We stopped that a couple of years ago.
I
Well,
can't sleep anymore.
then see your doctor for any kind of help you can get, you need for getting good night's
That's
sleep.
America's prescription for our ills. Take a pill.
Yeah, okay. Well, then don't do anything. But all I'm saying is, that's what I'm asking you to give me the courtesy to come back one more time. If I could tell you right now, we wouldn't need a third meeting.
That's what we were hoping.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I was hoping. Wait a minute, not again. We got about 6 people here. Let me recognize this gentleman.
I'm Bruceberry from Minneapolis, and I've come here specifically for this. And I come to Washington often over the past 3 years related to impeachment. And I carry with me a banner that says, Congress, time's up, impeach. And it's not the forum to do this, but I will continue to do this until it's too late, probably. I will continue to be vigilant as a Veterans for Peace member and come back for the next meeting from Minneapolis again.
Thank you.
But time will be up at a certain point.
Right.
It's not a question.
I was in Milwaukee 2 weeks ago.
An impeachment meeting?
An
An
impeachment?
impeachment meeting?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
See what I want.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say that I understand what you're saying about us being at a crossroads here. Because I believe that we are at a crossroads. I believe that we are at a crossroads that's going to lead to my children coming to me once they start school and asking me about what happened during this time. And I would most certainly much rather explain to my children that you and other members of the 110th Congress were heroes who swept in and saved us, not unlike our founding fathers, from a tyrant named George. And I would certainly hope that I do not end up having to tell my children when they ask, I'm sorry, Lee, it was an election year. Because I can tell you that I live on the largest naval base in the world, and our soldiers do not trust us anywhere. They tell us things that they shouldn't be telling us, about things that we shouldn't be doing. And they don't want to go anywhere that they shouldn't be going to begin with because it was illegal, and they don't want to go kill innocent people. And I can't for the life of me figure out, if impeachment doesn't happen, how I am supposed to teach my children that they live in a great country when we go to other countries and kill innocent people and let the people that are responsible for it just walk out free. And I certainly hope that I can tell my children how proud I was of you and the 110th Congress, and that I don't have to tell them anything different. Because I can assure you, sir, I have been one of the biggest Barack Obama cheerleaders over the last 3 years. I participated in the draft Obama campaign. And I have decided that since Mr. Obama has said that he does not support impeachment, that he has lost my vote.
Thank you very much. Come, yes, sir.
I'm Patrick McCann. I'm president of the local chapter of Veterans for Peace. A comment and a question. We're trying to play good cop and bad cop with you. We want to pressure you. We want you to feel the pressure at the same time. We want you to stand up and be the leader within Congress that we believe you to be. So while we will try our best to go from 36 to 218, we don't think that we need to we don't think 218 is the tipping point. I guess my question is, how soon can we meet again? What would be an optimum time to meet, and how can we become better prepared?
As soon as possible. I hope my staff is getting ready to give me a date and time that we can meet. I have two people scheduling me, one in Washington, one in Detroit. And as soon as they give me an answer, I give it to you right now, today. And what was the other part of your question?
Well, I mean, I guess, what can we do, to increase the pressure? Obviously, pick up a couple congressional people here or there, bring 5,000 people to this hearing room,
Well, you're all activists, so I don't have to give you any tips on how to protest or express yourselves or use your passion. There are a lot of ways to do it, and I think you're being very effective. One thing that occurred to me about how do you increase the pressure, this isn't a decision that I make about the pressure. I'm not going to be pressured into this. The decision I make is going to be the one that I'm going down in history on, not that you successfully pressured me to make up my mind. You know how many people are pressuring me to do 100 different things? That's part of the job. But the pressure isn't what gets me. The rightness of the decision is what gets me. So it's not a matter of you pressuring me more. It's a matter of me being persuaded that whatever decision I make, I'm going to stand by. I'm going to go down in history on. And so other group that I meet with that puts on pressure the other way, did they out-pressure you and you out-pressure them? That's what a representative is supposed to do in a representative democracy, is to listen to all sides. And that's what I do. If that wasn't the way I operated, we wouldn't even be meeting. Yes, sir.
I'm not a member, but with your own permission, I have one question. I'm wondering, you've talked about war being the only issue to you that's more important than impeachment, and people here brought war into the impeachment issue by saying we could be heading to war with Iran. What's that? Another war. With Resolution 362 calling for a blockade against Iran, has that changed your sense of urgency when it comes to impeachment? And do you have any plans in relation to that particular resolution and to stopping the next war that could be with Iran?
I have to examine 362. I have not done that. I will do it today. And so, yes, it sounds like from what Mr. Kucinich said, it does impact on my decision, because Iran and what we do in Iran impacts on my decision. So yes, they're all related.
All right, Mr. Conyers, Jeff Millard, Rock Veterans Against the War. We've met several times.
What's the last name?
Millard.
Millard.
The last time I met with you, we were talking about a separate issue, and I don't want to bring that issue up. But what I did want to bring up was something that you mentioned to me and a couple of the folks that were meeting with you, in that we weren't constitutional experts, and I don't think many of us in this room are constitutional experts. And I was wondering if it would be helpful to bring experts on this subject in front of you, and if you're willing to hear from constitutional experts and impeachment experts, and if that's something that you'd be willing to do, not just in this meeting, but also officially in hearings and things of that nature.
Yes, I'm considering it. Thank you, Mr. Millard. I'm considering that. I know every constitutional expert in North America, either personally or I've read from them or they've written me. I do not want for that. But I consider you constitutional experts as well. I mean, I've had a lot of Constitution and American law and international legal considerations and treaties that have been discussed between us. So I don't think you folks are unskilled or unlearned in this area. But we are considering having yet another hearing on this subject with the scholars on both sides of the issue present. And I thank you for reminding me of it and giving me an opportunity to make that statement now. Okay, we just finished. There are no further questions.
Some of us are old enough to remember the impeachment of Mr. Nixon, and I remember your part in that. When articles of impeachment were voted out prior to that, refresh my memory, Chairman Conyers, was there a consensus from the committee or in the nation, in a larger case, on the impeachment of Nixon? What's your recollection of that? I'm trying to draw a parallel.
Well, I introduced the first impeachment resolution on Richard Milhouse Nixon. And when it started out, there was far from the consensus. He'd just been reelected overwhelmingly. But as the hearings and the preliminary hearings and the Senate hearings that all preceded our impeachment hearings under then Chairman Peter Rodino, the pendulum quickly changed. So that's what I recall about.
I do also. I recall some heroes, Barbara Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth Holtzman.
Yes. I still remain in very close contact with Elizabeth Holtzman. I have her books. She visits me not infrequently, and I'm in touch with lots of authorities.
She's got an article that said Congress should impeach right now. That's an article. We haven't seen that. Then you have it.
No. July 7th. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. But thank you.
Very good words.
Yeah. What's this? Yeah. Okay. Date. July 25th, 12 noon on a Friday.
No, I'm saying I'll be
You can't make
July
July 20th.
We'll have a forum.
July
Yeah.
25th, you say?
Yes, sir. July 25th, Friday, 12 noon. And I might get a little bit larger room than this.
Thank you very much.
Congressman, I have to be honest, we came to this meeting expecting to hear a statement. I think you had planned to give a statement. I understand that that's changed, so you couldn't. I think many of our members are not going to want to repeat the same kind of meeting again.
I can understand.
So if it's going to, can you give us, if you can understand that, then can you give us a warning, but so that if it's going to be the same kind of meeting, we'll just reschedule it?
No, I can't. I'm not giving you this date to do what I'm saying I'm going to do, to say that I may change my mind and reschedule it. No, this is the date.
Okay.
And this is what I'm going to do is what I said I'm going to do. There's nothing unequivocal about this.
Councilman, is this the date that you're going to give us a decision on one way or the other?
Yes.
Solid. Okay. I'll take you at your word.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have met with you again, and I appreciate the time and resources and commitment that you put into this question as well.
Who's in the Declaration of Independence?
Congressman, we really do appreciate the effort that making this meeting and having a meeting with us. We understand that these are frustrating times for all of us, including yourself. but we do appreciate your special effort. Incidentally, we have a VFD convention in August in Minneapolis. We'd love to have you come if you want.
If I want, hey, look, I'm a member of this organization, and I do want. And if that's an invitation, I accept it. And even if I don't get an invitation, I can sit in the guest section and observe anyway.
You get your front row seat.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, Congressman.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your patience and listening to our concerns again. It's not directed to you as a person, but that position. I'm very grateful.
Nothing personal.
Thank you.
Nothing personal.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry.
Very good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was a great statement.